Season number 2 in the West. Broncos of Fayetteville State University. They were 4-3 last year in the conference and 4-6 overall. Kenny Phillips starts his 9th season. Can you believe it's been 9 years? 9th season at the helm at Fayetteville State University. They were the number 1 team in point after touchdowns. They made all 23 of their kicks. And some of you know the kicking game has been very difficult, so that's a good thing. The 6th best offense in the conference, averaging 19 points a ball game, and 5th best defense. And they were number 4 in turnover margin, just behind Elizabeth City. And on August 31st, Sunday afternoon, 4 o'clock, they'll start their season against North Carolina Central. Ladies and gentlemen, head coach Kenny Phillips of Fayetteville State. I asked Coach Stewart of several others, and I'll ask you the same thing. Poor start that began last season, 3-4, and think, hey, it's the numbers. You tell the truth, right?
Tell the truth.
What went wrong early? How did you correct it, and what did we do for 08?
Well, first of all, I think what happened to Bronco football last year, we have our quarterback here, Brian Hardy, understand. Quarterbacks in the league. We played wing it. He fumbled the ball, scrambling around, tried to pick it up, got kneed in the head and got a 3rd-degree concussion. And couldn't remember who he was for about 3 weeks.
Your quarterback know who he is, don't you?
Didn't know who he is, know who his mama was. So she was concerned that he wasn't going to remember who she was. So I told her he'll be all right, just give him time. But I think going into last season, we had a lot of questions about our football team. We had a very young football team last year. We had 2 seniors on defense, Jerron Harper and Andre Dunn, who was first team all-league. So we're returning 9 guys back on defense. And on the offensive side of the ball, we had 2 seniors. Battle, who was first team all-league, and our kicker, Eric Lamoureux, who was first team all-league. Darryl Barnett was a senior, but he got hurt and returned with the redshirt year. So
he'll be back?
He'll be back. We had a very, very young football team. I don't make excuses for what goes on in the football field, but I think that coming into this year, we got a chance to be a very good football team.
Well, in the past, last 3, 4, 5 seasons, Fayetteville State has had a really solid defense, but they've been very, very excited on offense. Last year, like I said, only averaging 19 points a game. I think you agree that's a little bit below the standard of Fayetteville State offensively. So what do we do to make it better for this year?
Well, the first thing we got to do is make sure Brian don't get hit in the head again this year and be able to play 10 ball games and give us a chance to have to win the football game. If you watched them, I think that's the biggest part of our turnaround last year when we had an opportunity to, when we played Virginia Union, if we win that football game, a lot of ifs, ands, and buts. If we all could get those, we all get a championship game. But, we went into the last game of the season with a chance to play in the championship game if we win that football game. And Elizabeth City beats, I think you played Shaw, right?
He don't want to talk about it. He's looking for me.
But we had too many ifs, ands, in order to get in the game. But we went into the last game with a chance after starting out as bad as we did playing in the championship game. So it showed a lot in our student athletes there at Fayetteville State, and what you can do is not how you start, it's how you finish.
Over the 9 years, or in this decade, did you realize that you were the second winningest program in the CIAA with 48 wins and 2 CIAA championships?
No.
That's what you got to do. but having said that, the last 3 or 4 seasons, it has declined a little bit in the number of wins, and it has changed the tenor of being able to play for championships. So is this a extra motivation this year you were so close after a bad start of getting back to a championship?
Well, there's a lot that goes into it when you're talking about when we hit that string in 02, we won the championship in 03. Played for the championship in 04, and what happens is that when you get to that point, football-wise, the other coaches start telling you, well, if you go to Fayetteville State, you ain't going to play. So we hit a lull there where we were not able to recruit some of the guys that we had in our program before, but the last 2 years we went out recruiting and did a very good job in recruiting some high school student athletes who we played with last year. And this year we went out and concentrated on recruiting some junior college guys to come in and secure some spots up offensively and defense. I think it's going to be a big turnaround for us there at Fayetteville State.
You talked about Jerron Harper on defense. One of the guys that you do have returning is Dante Wise, and he's always around in football, a lot of tackles, a couple of interceptions last year. Talk a little bit about him and also some other guys on the defensive side of the ball.
Well, Dante Wise, if you remember, his redshirt freshman year was defensive rookie of the year in the league. He had a very good first year, and because of the competitiveness in the league, there's been some defensive backs that have been a little bit better than he was. But I think Dante is on course to be an all-conference player. But I tell him all the time, don't read your stats. It's what you do every Saturday that you got to come out and perform. And if you do that, you have a chance to be an all-league player. Terrell Allen is a transfer from VMI, the linebacker for us. Had an outstanding year last year. Played with a stinger in his shoulder. Every time he hit somebody, he would go down. So we've got that taken care of. And I think we've got a chance to be very good defensive with three transfer guys that came in the spring. Daniel Harlan out of Arizona and Diamond Johnson out of Arizona. And then we had a kid named Eric Cooper transferred in from Minnesota that went through spring drills, which is big when you're talking about transfer guys.
How do you replace Lamora?
We signed a very good kicker out of Mesa, San Diego, junior college out in San Diego, California. I mean, he's a very good kicker. I think he'll be a little bit more polished than what Eric was when Eric came to us as a freshman. So we feel like the kid that we signed out of Arizona, out of California, Austin Turner, is going to be a very good kicker to take Eric's place.
CIAA West has always been very competitive, and you're sitting there with your friends, but your non-conference schedule, Presbyterian, they're in transition, and also North Carolina Central. How important is it for you to get off to a good start as opposed to what did not happen last season?
Well, it's always good to come out the gates winning football games and not losing football games because it's a confidence thing. But if you do lose a football game, you have to make sure that your players understand that it's not the end of the rainbow. The rainbow still goes on because the first three games of your non-conference game, once you get into the CIAA, those are the games that get you into the championship game. Everybody say win 8. You can win 7 and be in the championship game. You win all your league games, you're in the championship game, whether you win one of your non-conference games or not. But on the flip side of that, this is my ninth year. I've been driving down I-95 with Coach McClain and John Eder rode with me the first 8 years. Coach Eder is my offensive coordinator. Anytime you guys, when you say your prayers at night, say a prayer for one. He's battling a internal illness that he's not going to coach with us this year. So my assistant head coach Dick Portie took the challenge of riding down I-95 with Coach Phillips this morning.
Coach Portie. I see. Veteran coach. Coach Portie, wave your hand back there, Coach. There you go.
But I'll get out of here. I want to talk long. Offensively, the way it's going to go this year, I think that if our quarterback stays healthy, we got a chance to be very good offensive with Brian Hardy, Darryl Barnett, Elijah Sess, and Bobby Wilder, and Richard Medlin. Those are skilled guys that played for us last year that, other than Barnett, that I think we got a chance to be very, very good. I'm glad I don't play Coach Tillett this year since he got that animal back there. Hopefully, we got a man back there. Hopefully, we'll see him in that championship game that we can demand him.
Before you go, I got one thing. A lot of people don't know this, or maybe they do, but some of the people that are new to the conference, you've got 4 home games. You're the only school in the CIAA with field turf. How's that worked out? What if you can share any advantages about that? I mean, it's got to be nice to look out there and you have to mow the grass.
Well, I was joking with Coach Tillett this morning when we finished the official meeting. I said, this is the first time that we can walk out on the field and not have to call the physical plan to paint lines and numbers and hash marks on the field so we can practice. So that's a big
practice on the field. You guys go to those places.
We're going to practice on it as much as we can. You can't wear it out. But the advantage is your student athletes can go out there anytime during the year and go out there and throw balls with lines and hash marks and numbers and run routes based on what you teach them during the season. And our student athletes have done a great job this summer. They go out there and throw every afternoon out there on the game field.
Kenny, good luck to you against Central and throughout the season.
Thank you.
Kenny Phillips, Fayetteville State University.